the island of Gran Canaria, where the APP World Tour will be wrapping up the season in fine style. Swell on the rise behind us at the surf spot known as El Lorette. Paul Evans alongside Anthony Vela. Good morning, mate.
Morning, Paul.
Buenos dias, ¿qué tal?
Bien, muy bien. Las olas están muy grande y perfecto. Y hay mucho fuerza en la agua. There's a lot of power in the water today.
Had some motion in the ocean out there. We ran through a couple of rounds yesterday of the men, just setting things up for the swell. We had to make the most of what we had on offer yesterday. We moved to our prime break of El Lorette. So in terms of the wave, we're talking about a right-hand reef point with a ton of power out there.
Ton of power, ton of rocks. Even just getting out to the lineup is a bit tricky. And we're going to see some fantastic surfing today. It's all about speed, commitment, and landing your maneuvers.
So as promised by our forecast, the swell's ramped up, probably doubled in size, periods jumped up as well. We've got these thick lines out of the North Atlantic. How the world's best paddle surfers going to fare today, of course. For the men, we have world title up for grabs as well. And it's all going to come to a kind of a thrilling conclusion over this weekend.
It's going to be a fantastic conclusion, and you know, it couldn't ask for better waves, powerful waves. You know, it's a little bit tricky out there with the lineup. It's not the perfect direction, so it's by no means a perfect right-hand point break, but it's really going to test their abilities to find the waves, and then, of course, they're going to have to surf them well. The takeoff's tricky as well. It's not an easy entry. There's a lot of sections. It's not an even rocky bottom. It's a bit uneven, so it's going to be a fun day of action.
All right, let's set the scene. Heat 1 in the water underway. Features the red singlet of the world #1. And it is the Tahitian Poenaki Raioa in that red singlet, Camille Boyer out of France, who dodged a couple of possible kind of early upsets yesterday to get through to this round. Maurice Mauch, the German, gave a good account of himself. I think he's based in the Canary Islands. He's from this part of the world, representing Germany though. He'll bring some line-up knowledge. And of course the world title conversation is underway with that man. He is in the hot seat, Poenaki. If he makes the final here, he will be world champion. There's a bunch of other different ways it could go as well. Let's check him out in live action, straight underway. He likes to keep surfing. Tahitian with the first little snap. He'll let this racetrack section set up, and it will just kind of detonate a little bit in front of him. He would have loved the second turn, which isn't forthcoming, and he just kind of went for the right moment to get out.
I think that was more of a kind of a warm-up wave. He was the first heat of the day and just wanted to get his legs going. He didn't want to risk it on that second turn so early in the heat.
Let's talk about these rocks. You see him poking through on the inside there, Anthony. How far away are these rocks, these dry rocks from our riders?
I mean, they're 10 meters, 20 meters. If they get a really good one, they're going to be taking their last turn basically all the way into the rocks. So, and mind you, on the takeoff, there's some sniper rocks there as well.
Maurice Mauch in yellow, and just a little bottom turn to eject, getting out of there. Everyone keeping a close eye on things this morning, reading the lineup, ever important. But yeah, got kind of a point style wave, but not a perfect point. It definitely doesn't end in kind of calm waters. It kind of ends with the sort of left coming at it, and not super even on the reef either, so there is quite a bit of bump to deal with. The main thing about this wave is the power. Who can deal with that power and manage it and impose themselves with maneuvers on the face. A little inside number here for Mauch. Some of these little ones actually seem pretty good, and we just noticed this morning from the warm-up, maybe the first wave of the sets do have that bump. It does get progressively cleaner. If you can get a three-wave set, it seems like the third one just has that little kind of cleaner pocket to it.
Yep, definitely agree, and it's not easy out there, which makes it really challenging and exciting for us and exciting for you guys watching at home, because you see a completely different view. There's the hillside there. Love this backdrop. So we're facing basically a different direction than yesterday, kind of facing to the west, a little northwest we talked about, and there's a beautiful coastline. And today is going to be fantastic. Last year in the finals we saw there's some of the youngsters getting ready. Not excited yet. Just finished watching cartoons and eating a cereal.
25-minute heats, and our format as we see live action here from the Frenchman Camille Boyer as he looks to get some speed going down the line. A little kick up high with a little snap in the pocket, and then a drawn out bottom turn. There's a really nice turn. You see the power of the wave And he just put his board a little too much on edge, but I like the risk taken from him. And again, there's an ambitious hit from Maurice Mulch. And he'll go down. Anthony, it's not easy to pick your turns up in the lip here. You take it on the lip, there's a good chance you're going to come off second best.
Oh my gosh, how's this replay? So you can see Camille, I think the Bouyer brothers are better in big waves. He's loving this wave right here. Iron the lip, off the bottom, and look at the bottom just drop out. And he almost got on the tail just enough to keep the nose from diving, but then he had too much weight on his back foot. Such a tricky landing right there. Camille Bouyer having a look at the rocks. He's looks like he might be coming in. Something happened, possibly, or he's just waiting to set out. So he's about 10 meters from the rocks. You can't see it on screen, but he's super close.
There's so much sweep down there. Everything kind of gets compacted down in that little part of the bay, and the wave energy real pushes in, and that kind of sweep that we sometimes get on points. And there is a rip comes back the other way, but if you don't quite get into the rip to push you out in between sets, you're going to take a few on the head. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from Camille Bouyer, who got a little bit to deal with down in there. So the early scores are in. Poinaki gets to 3-4. His kind of clean entry and exit. He's also going to be patrolling that lineup out there. Looking for an opportunity. Likes a busy start.
And this is just the first 5 minutes, and we've seen a flurry of action. I'm barely able to contain myself. I mean, it's round 3, so you've got to send it. And from those 2 turns by Maurice Mouch and Camille Bouyer, they're sending it. Poinaki Rioja playing it safe on his first wave. Had that first turn and then decided to not hit the oncoming lip. He's trying to make friends with it first, you know,
fair enough.
talk it up a little bit, and then later on.
It's that interesting size. We have jumped up in size. It's still want to be attacking. It's not big waves. We just kind of survive on surfing down them. But at the same time, it's kind of, some of them are kind of borderline. And this wave will race pretty fast as well. We've seen some of the bomb sets this morning just sectioning in front of our riders. So line up positioning and also that line in is crucial. Let's see how Poinaki deciphers a little set, which looks like standing up. You just see that kind of rip going through. Winds are pretty light this morning. This texture on the face isn't caused by the wind. This is basically water churning to get off these shallow rocks into the deep holes. Poinaki's going to get a little caught inside here. So feeling things out. Didn't get a practice surf this morning. Interesting to see as he'll just try and nurse the board over and go under there. Yeah, not much opportunity for practice on this wave. There was a little session last night as the swell did jump up and the tide dropped out. But first heat this morning, well, it's going to be a case of trying to figure out some opportunities from the lineup. Daniel Hughes sussing things out.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. The only person we saw in the water was Ibaya Moreno, not one other athlete.
And she's the surfer that knows this place the best out of everyone, but she's probably surfed it more times than everyone else put together.
Yeah, and still was the only one in the water. So you can see that water just churning. And I find that very surprising because it's not an easy wave to surf. You would think you'd want to get as many entries in, try to figure out the lineup, but no takers this morning. We'll see how that plays into the heats, especially the women. You would think, they didn't get a chance to surf in the contest yesterday. Maybe they surfed here, but today is a completely different day than yesterday. And there's a good 45 minutes between when first light was and the time that we started at 8:15. It gets light around 7:30, a little bit before.
We had a little yoga session, commentators yoga.
Yes, we did. And by we, Paul means
me.
But I did participate in taking a photo of you. There you see Julien getting ready for his heat, Aaron Rowe as well. Julien advancing, winning his heat. Aaron Rowe went through the repechaje round and was able to advance into round 3. We'll see him coming up later in heat number 7 of 8.
Poinaki again caught inside. So line-up position tricky here. You got to sit inside enough to kind of get the medium ones, the clean ones. At the same time, that means you might get a few of these on the chin. And doing well to get over second wave of the set. Let's see if he might be interested in the third one. We'll see him re-emerge from under the whitewater in the trough of the wave here.
Be interested.
He is interested indeed. Here he goes with a little buckle goes through that one.
I can't take it, Paul. I cannot take it. Thank you, Anna. I just want to see him unleash. Remembering he scored that 10 last year in the semifinals. And it's just going to be, he's going to throw so much water. Okay. I should have done the yoga with you. Breathe.
Breathe, man. Fire breath. All right, we got some surfers caught inside, scrambling for the horizon.
Yes.
Horizon goes dark on Mouch and Boyer, but they just got slightly clipped that way. It didn't really detonate on them. They'll be fine. They'll be able to hold position in the lineup. Just reassess a little bit. Maybe just adjust it a little bit wider. And maybe give the wave a little bit of a chance to come at you and kind of get a read on it, rather than the real apex of the peak. Certainly some tricky conditions and a lot of power out in the ocean.
I think those were some local shortboarders having a look. And they're going to be excited when they see Point Nike as well. You know, that's one of the things the APP World Tour does is, you know, kind of change perception on stand-up paddling. These guys surf with a lot of respect. And, of course, when they get a chance to unleash their maneuvers, it is a sight to be appreciated by any board rider.
Yeah, I'm just checking from the top of the love bus here. That's our commentary position in the corner. I'm just looking at some Swifts. It's a big group of Swifts flying. So the Swifts left Northern Europe around about end of August. They're normally gone by the start of September. They go a little bit earlier than the Swallows. Usually make their way to sub-Saharan Africa, so their migration will take them all the way down. I wonder if these are resident here in the Canaries over winter, or they've stopped off en route. It's a great place to stop off.
These ones are the residents. You can tell by their flight pattern that they are residents. You can see them.
And the way they're just kind of vibing us out again. All right, you guys can surf for a couple of days and then, you know, pack your stuff up and beat it. All right, 14 minutes to go in this. No significant scores as yet. And that rip just kind of raging through. Haven't caught a little bit outside now, so having to readjust, of course, then. They'll bring into play when the set comes. Will they be too far inside? Line-up positioning, ever crucial at the wave known as El Lorette. What does Lorette mean?
I don't know, to be honest. Let's see if there's a literal translation. Lorette, I just believe, is a... Well, llorar means to cry. So if you type in Lloret, literally translated it says Lloret. So it's probably a name of somebody.
A proper noun.
Proper noun.
Like, looks like a breakfast sandwiches have arrived in the love bus.
Oh yeah. Ah, bocadillos. So 10 minutes. Oh yeah, we just talked about that. We see I can't quite reach. Bocadillos delivered. Let's see if yours has ham. Throw that ham right on mine. Oh. Is this mine? Hey, anytime it's delivered, it is fantastic. So tough start, and we've talked about it. We're going to talk about it through the day. Nobody warmed up, just Ibaya Moreno. And it's a tricky wave. This rip is howling. It's bombing. And Camille's going to have to stand up. He's well outside of safety. So he's safe out there. He just needs to stand up. Hey, Camille's got to stand. There's Julian right there with Aaron Rowe. They're having a look, preparing. So everyone just kind of slept in this morning. Except for us, we were down here at 6 in the morning watching the waves in the dark and just listening to the sounds of the rocks getting pounded around. And last night there was quite a bit of sand that had moved from the bigger swell, so there's some rocks on the beach that you can see by our place, and there was a lot more rocks that were uncovered from the rising swell. You see our Los Salvavidas, the lifeguards keeping us safe. We've got the jet ski in the water outside the break, just in case. And here's Poinike, opened up with a 3. He's had a look at a couple others, but right now it's just been hard times for these guys. Hey, Camille's got to stand when he's paddling. Camille's got to stand. And Maurice Mouch up and riding, opened up. There's a second turn, boom. And he's able to complete that maneuver. A smaller one like we were talking about earlier. It's not those bigger ones, but just getting those 2 beautiful turns in. And that was a great ride from Maurice Mouch from Germany. For sure the best wave of the heat so far. And that second turn was the money turn. A lot of whitewater on the face of that wave, so he had to negotiate that. He's just taking a pounding on the inside. It is not an easy wave to surf. The entry in is not easy. Here he is opening up off the lip. You can see this is a smaller one. The raging rip out there, and then here it is. Boom, just stays on that rail right into the whitewater, almost goes down. Uses that cross turn back brace. You see him just hit the eject button right there. And that's going to put him in a good position. 3-person heat, top 2. We'll head into round 4. Here's Poinike Rioja in red. Poinike behind the whitewater. Comes off the bottom. Oh, throws some spray. Goes down. Poinike just trying to put a score on the board. He goes down. 9 minutes, 15 seconds left. That leaves Camille Bouillet out the back on his own. Poinike just getting pounded. So this is one of those days where you are going to have to pay to play out there. And it's one of those, looks like he lost his paddle. It's right there. One of those beware what you wish for things. You want to surf here. Here's Poinike. You can see, boom, comes out. He's trying to be safe a little bit. But then that wave just doubles up. Gets super steep. He falls nice and safe away from his board. You can see him look at the entry into the water as he falls, and he's still getting pounded. That's his 4th wave that he's dove under. And every wave that he's diving under, it's taking him precariously closer to the rocks. And you can see him just looking to his left. To the left is where the rocks are. He's trying to drift into the rip, into the channel. Well, not really a channel, more just a rip. He took off right in the peak. So when he fell, he was nowhere near the channel. Versus Maurice Mouch, who took the wave and jumped off his board a little bit closer to the channel. Maurice Mouch, 5.17 and a 1.13.
Poinike Rioja's getting absolutely sent down the point. He's gone 150, nearly 200 yards in 40 seconds. Seriously, that current is so quick, taking him down the edge of the point. So out the back, we've got this current dragging everyone deep and high. And then on the inside, we've got that sweep pushing down, which is a lethal combo. Because of that water swirling around, that's why we got such big bumps in the face. That was an absolute bomb set there. Camille Boyer just a little deep and out the back. Absolute huge wave. Probably one of the biggest sets we've seen so far this morning.
And Poinike spent about 2 minutes in that lateral current. He caught that wave with about 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And I think he was just playing it smart, not trying to paddle out through. He was letting himself getting taken down. But 2 minutes went by already.
I like the tactic from Maurice Mouch, just picking up that smaller wave, just getting a couple of turns done, get a completion. You know, maybe don't try and surf for the 9s, but just put a couple of mid-range scores up, and you're in business in this heat. Because it is super tricky to get completions done. And if you wait for the good bombs, there's a good chance something might go awry with so much power. Camille Boyer just caught a little bit up the point there. Positioning super tricky. be a little bit of potluck involved as well. If you can kind of keep, it's easy to say, maybe you can kind of keep catching waves, just kind of keeping that rotation. There's a good chance as you make your way back out, might be able to snaffle something, but just sitting in a spot in the line, drop an anchor. By the time a set comes, you're very unlikely to be in a good position.
Yep. It's such a great point when surfing in currents and surfing in strong rip currents. You want to catch a lot of waves just to hold your ground, save a lot of energy.
There with a bit of prone paddling back in. Anthony, we're going to get a ruling on this. You can see that's not, you find that slightly displeasurable.
Yes, me too.
Are you telling them about the scores?
So next heat, get ready. You're looking at Clement Rezaro with the bright pink board there.
He's saying that
it's been a really impressive surfer. It's got the S-wing fin, you can see there. The biomimetic fin. So S-wings out of Guttari-Bida in southwest France. And the idea behind that fin was essentially it started out on a big wave design. The idea was as the board skips and airdrops, we'll revisit that as live action here from Mouch. And he's found another smaller wave. Great tactic from him. I like what he's doing in here. He's getting his maneuvers done. Nice little climb to finish as well. It's smooth. He gets it done. Gets out of there before the rocks. That was a completion. He just purposely ejected to not go on the rocks. But picking up the smaller ones, banging out a few turns, keeping your rhythm is real smart. As we see, uncharacteristic. Poinaki Raioa over 21 minutes of surfing. A combined two-wave heat total of 4.5. He spent a lot of time underwater. He's taken about 15 waves on the head. Let's have another look at the replay from Mo Mouch.
Just a smaller wave, but great strategy. He's in first right now, trying to combine with that 5.7. Here he is finishing this one off. Foam climb. I love how he sticks with it, shows the judges that he's complete, and then ejects on purpose. Here's the next heat getting ready. You can see how tricky the entry is. And I think a little further to the left, there's a little fewer rocks. Further out, here's Poinaki.
Okay, here he goes from second spot. Needing a big number for first, 661. Long bottom turn. Nice little jam in the pocket. So he found himself a small, cleaner face here. And from the tail, he'll project through the lip, get straight back on the speed. Nice quiet paddle so far from him. As he will project through and inside, get a little slashing turn. And that'll be all she wrote there. Finishes all the way down on the inside. Much better stuff from him. He was kind of hoping to get that wave to back up his first one in the first few minutes. And it took 20 minutes of kind of getting lit up and cleaned up. For him to find that meanwhile, heat on hands here. Camille Boyer with a reply of his own from out the back. He's got a little bit of running to do here because he's in third at the moment. He finds himself a long way back and opts to straighten out.
And he was so deep there too. That one's he's gonna have to ride it out and try to angle into the rip current. 3 minutes 22 seconds. Poinaki looking for a score. Maurice Mouch backing up his 5.17. Maurice backs it up with a 4.43. Waiting for a score for Poinaki and also for Camille Bouillet. There's Poinaki. You can see that first turn to have the paddle on the heel side is very difficult going front side. And then shows some variety right there. Great timing. And then I think here he's just trying to ride into the channel more for positioning and then just throws in this turn just for fun. Whoop. And this little tube ride pull out right there. I enjoyed that wave. Poinaki playing it safe. He still has to make some heats in order to secure the world title. There you see the crew starting to arrive. It's a pretty empty morning. Not a lot of athletes down here early looking at the conditions. I thought it would have been packed at 7 in the morning.
So the peanut gallery filling up. See a little bit of brisk wind blowing across us, across the waves down here, but nothing particularly violent as yet. All right, let's take a look at Maurice Mouch, representing Deutschland. He is in the yellow, and he has found the small, clean waves, and he's got a lead in this heat so far. And he's got a little meaty double up here. There's a nice turn from him. Love the spray. just squeezed off the rail. There's a nice little jam on the rail as well. A little high line carve down turn. And another redirect. Fourth maneuver for the German here. Bang, goes into the lip. And a really well surfed wave. His rhythm's been good. His tactics seem absolutely spot on, Anthony.
That is great surfing by Maurice Mouch. He's feeling the momentum. He won his repechaje heat against Federico Benantolo and Karsten Kermes, and he's just carrying that momentum into it. Poinaki Rioja dropping a 6.33, so he just needs a small score to take the lead. Great turn right here. You can see how frothy it is, but absolute commitment on the top of the lip there. Going for this crossbow turn right there. Just cuts it in half to try to get in a third maneuver. And just a little safe redirection off the top. And bang at the end. Maurice Mouch, he came to compete against these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has had a real positive strategy from the get-go here to just maybe not try and go for the big boomers out the back. Just keep catching waves. And he has been good value for a lead. He might improve there. Poinaki, prior to that, did have the high score. Let's see if Maurice Mouch can improve on his 4.43 with that last wave. You reckon he probably would. Let's have a look here. Poinaki Raiola, world number 1. Every heat in this event is a world title heat for him. And you see a little boil pop up in the face, and he uses it as a navigational aid. Pivots his turn around it, and then jams down to the inside. Nice snap off the top. And does well to cling on there. Almost looked like he'd lost that. Got his weight back on his heel edge. Did well to recover. Such a natural surfer. And he is back on the rocks. Slippy down there. You got to kind of go fast, but don't rush, so to speak. Easier said than done. And another one going the S-Wings biomimetic fin. So just revisiting that fin chat. The idea behind those was if you jump down a big wave and you got airborne on the chops, the idea was for the fin to engage. It's actually translated to a small wave design as well. And biomimetic, it's basically, it's kind of a long word. It's supposed to sound technical. It's essentially imitating some of the designs that we see in nature that you get on a fish, essentially. So the S-Wings fins being used by 2 surfers so far already this morning. Pretty popular with the subs, also that deeper fin, getting you out of that more turbulent water on the surface. There's the official result. Poinaki Raiola goes into first. Maurice Mouch second spot, and we'll say au revoir to Camille Boyer. He's going to bow out competition there. A tough heat. That's how they go down in round 3. Here's the recap. Poinaki started off and we thought, all right, business as usual. Off to a strong start. He was in struggle street for a little while there. This man here held the lead almost all the way through. But definitely a tactical decision from him to go kind of medium waves, the cleaner ones. Maybe don't try and blow everyone's mind with big 8-footers out on the peak. Just keep picking up the runners. And he stuck to his task well. He didn't fall. And he's good value to advance alongside this man here, the world number 1. The world title is still alive for him. Just a reminder, if he gets the final, even if he loses, he is the champ. And then we've got a whole bunch of other different scenarios that we'll keep bringing you as and when throughout the day. Saturday morning in Gran Canaria, the beautiful Las Palmas on the north coast of the islands. And it's great to have you online. APP World Tour will be wrapping up this year in this event in fine style with a good swell. Let's check out Heat 2 in round 3. Mehdi Oudani out of Morocco, Clement Hazero out of France, and Liam Dunkerbeck, the local from this island, part of the Dunkerbeck Ohana. Of course, Pops, Bjorn, instrumental in putting this event together. And a multidisciplinarian Liam, who's surfed in QS events. He's here as we'll check out the Frenchman Rosero. And he'll just crank a little backhand jam. So again, not waiting for bombs, just finding a little opportunity. Slightly wider and inside. I think it's a smart move. Just get something on the score because you can eat up time here. And still jamming through. He's real busy on his board. Keeps it super active. And our first backside wave of the morning.
That was a great wave.
Good effort.
That third turn was quite nice. You can see the exit. Camille Bouillet never really got in rhythm this whole event. Saw his frustrations yesterday, and
equally frustrated today. And here we see this last wave. Clement, right here, this next turn coming up. He just found the lip on this one and just, boom, look at that spray. Great positioning, great timing. Does a great job working ahead of that whitewater as well to get in that last turn.
Kind of manufactured. A little bit of score on the inside there. Not a great looking wave, but with those wobbles, you do get those little steep bits kind of in the backwash. And he timed his turns real well on not a great wave, but going to be a reasonable number for him. Good surfing, great way to start a heat. Put something on the board, make sure you finish your wave. That's what he's done there, because, you know, bomb sets come through. It's going to eat up time. You get caught inside and cleaned up. Well, could be a third of the heat gone already, and you still haven't got anything on the board. Nearly happened to Nike Raiola in that first tee of the morning. And Clement Rousseau with a good number, 5, 6, 7. What a great way to start.
That's exactly how you do it on a wave of less consequence, right? If you fell, not that big of a deal. It was a smaller insider. But if you rip it, you can build your house, as we saw Maurice Mouch do. So both surfers in yellow using the same strategy.
Oh, look at the waggy tail. Daddy's back from the sea. Look how stoked the dog is.
Aaron Rowe having a chat with Camille about his heat and positioning, and he's probably telling him, hey, you're just a little bit out of position for those bombs. See what Liam Dunkerbeck can do. He won his Repechaje heat number 6. Well played by the youngster. So he's into round 3. That's pretty cool. He's going to get at least 3,000 points. So he will officially finish ahead of Paul Evans and Anthony Vela on the APP World Tour rankings. Mehdi Odwani opens up with a 2.5.
No stranger to a right-hand point break coming from Morocco, the land of majestic right points. They had an epic swell there last week. Early in the week, just beautiful conditions. Basically as good as it gets. Waves like Anchor Point down in Tarazout in the south of the country. But a lot of long right-handers to choose from, so he won't mind at all being out on a right point. Plenty to go in this one. No wave as yet from young Liam Dunkerbeck. And he just rocked up probably about 5 minutes before this one. A casual approach from the youngster. So I'm kind of sauntering around the corner on his board. Literally, yeah, maybe 5-10 minutes before the start.
Yeah, I'm still very perplexed about the lack of attendance. I mean, you can watch it on the webcast, which is one thing, but I think you miss a lot watching the webcast as far as positioning, especially in that last heat, thinking about Camille Bouillet and how you want to see how the rip current's moving. Red with priority. Mehdi Odwana on a bomb.
Yeah, here he goes. Slightly awkward bottom turn, slightly awkward snap mid-face as well. The wave will run away now.
Are you saying that wave was slightly awkward?
A couple of errors there. Couple of errors on that one. Used that prio. And as soon as he got that wobble on the bottom turn, he was always a little bit out of sorts. Easy to get that wobble there. You see the water just churning in front of the wave. So he kind of loses it there and just gets things a little bit wrong. And he kind of forces the issue with this one. And then ends up putting himself behind a section. Still plenty of time to get himself in the lineup and put up something legit. He's already got a 2. Something like that. Would be something of similar order. High seed in this heat, of course, with that red singlet. There it is, comes in, so gets another 2. It's Poenaki with a little debrief and some reflection, and he'll just be looking to build and build from here.
Yeah, he's definitely not stoked. You can see it on his face. He's usually smiling, so I think he's, even though you get through, you still want a chance to throw down a big turn, and he never really connected on one of his signature turns. He got the scores that he needed to win, which is part of it. Sometimes you got to just fight it out. But you definitely want to be able to throw your best turns out there, as these guys are looking to do. Liam Dunkerbeck looking to upset some of these older seasoned veterans. Still looking for his first ride. He's got first priority, so he can choose any wave he wants.
So it's round 3 of the men so far this morning. Any other updates on our running order? What are we looking at for a program today?
We're going round. We'll get back to this. We have live
Ooh,
action.
big
Lamont.
Rosero with a nice little clipping top turns. Timing's good.
That was sick. Round 3 of the men. We're going to go right into round 4 of the men. We've got quite a bigger bracket on the men's side. And then we'll get into our women's heats for the day. So round 1 of the women will take place after round 4 of the men. That's going to get the tide on its downward.
So it could be looking at 18 heats again today, like yesterday.
Yes, at least 18. Yep, yeah. Yeah, I think we're looking at 18, maybe 20 heats of awesome action.
Bring it on.
Those of you on the West Coast, just stay up all night.
I ain't afraid no ghost. Busting makes me feel good, in the words of Ray Parker Jr.
You forgot, yeah. That's an
Ray
important
Parker
part.
Jr. Didn't have many other hits, did he? Bit of a one-hit wonder with Ghostbusters. I wonder if he just lived off that the rest of his
I mean,
days
they're
out.
still playing Ghostbusters, so.
All roads lead to Bill Murray, really, don't they? Essentially. Rick Moranis is also in that movie.
I am the gatekeeper. You are the
Scary.
key master.
That's
Yeah,
really
super scary.
Yeah, it's super scary. Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
I was scared of her.
I was scared yet.
At the same time, ooh.
Just approaching 15 minutes to go. We have the view right there of some of our athletes preparing for their next round. Sean Pointer, of course, coming up against Wellington Race and Antonine Salaveria. I just had a look behind and was watching Wellington prepare as well, and these guys are focused. I mean, this is what you're training for all year, to surf these types of waves, and the ripping is going to just get better and better and better every single heat. As the wave, the swell is still figuring itself out. It should drop just a little bit, I think, which will help with the consistency and the shape. And we see these guys having a look.
All right, 14:40 on the clock. Camille Rosero, the Frenchman, with the best of the running so far. No way for Liam Dunkerbeck. Udani with a couple of twos. Let's see if we get some takers on this set. There's a lot of bump and lump and chunk going through this lineup. We'll see one stand up at the top of the point. It's kind of a solid wave. No takers on that one.
Oh, this set is huge.
There's the one behind. See if anyone's got a good position on this. Again, no one interested at all there. So just playing it patient.
I think that one swung a little bit wide. It's hard to tell from our camera angles at times, but this bay, it's not, like we've talked about, it's not one of those long point breaks, like you see in, some places like Crescent Head, like Snapper Rocks, or these long point breaks, or the Moroccan waves we were talking about earlier. It's just a small little bay. So these waves only run for about, 50 to 100 meters. And after that, it's just all rocks. It's a cove of rocks. And it's tricky out there because the water is rebounding off the rocks as well.
So the set will eat up a little more time off the clock. And everyone will think about a little reposition down the point. Be sitting a little deep. I just thought maybe that last wave of that last set had a little corner on it. Didn't have super critical wall, but just felt like maybe there's a bit of an opportunity. Certainly if you don't have first priority, I think there's a good argument to sit a lot wider and just have a look. There's nothing really to be gained by all kind of jostling next to each other right up there. And when it's big like this and oversized, I just think that sort of margin of error gets a bit bigger geographically, where you're not really sure exactly where it's going to land. You might as well be wider. There's no point in being deeper as these things just shut down. You're just going to get caught up there and lose time. So I think it's a real good argument to just maybe don't paddle all the way back to the lineup if you just caught a wave. Just kind of let the rip and just hang a little wide and maybe snap out some opportunities. Exactly what we saw from Maurice Mouch in that last heat. I think that's a great tactic. I think these guys kind of paddle themselves a little bit around in circles up the top of the point, and they're gonna, set's gonna come through, and it might all be to bunch together, and just no one really able to find something. Let's see if they can spread out a little bit. There are some great little waves running through on the inside to be had, particularly if you're Liam Dunkerbeck from his point of view, halfway gone in the heat. Throw something on the board. So here we go, here's Rosero on a smaller inside wave. Just looking to keep surfing, keep that flow going. You'll see him, he'll paddle now. He's heading nowhere near the lineup. Look where he's pointing. He is heading for the channel. Wants to put himself wide and then let that rip just carry him back up there. So a real indication of the water moving around out there. Very rare in a surf contest. You see someone, as soon as they kick out, they're normally pointing their nose straight towards where they want to go, the peak. That's how we flew over here. It was a trick bumpy landing, wasn't it? I was glad I had my seatbelt on, Anthony. You got told off for standing up too early, trying to get your bag out. Classic Vela.
I was in first class, though, so I thought we can get our bags early.
All right, let's see. We've got to take her up here. 11 minutes and 10 on the clock. Surely it's Dunkerbeck's priority, but bizarrely, he will let Udani go on a great looking wave. And another error as that one just doubles up sweetly. Dunkerbeck there hasn't had a ridden a wave. He must have had prio. Didn't see him paddle for much to give it up.
He did, but he probably just, he's a rookie on tour, so rookie mistake right there. The youngster not knowing that he could have taken that wave. He had priority. Or maybe he just didn't want it. He was waiting for this one.
Here we go. A little option for him if he can get on. I'm not sure that he will. Liam Dunkerbeck still patrolling out there. Surfed great yesterday. Let's see what he can do at some point in these right-handers.
There's a little tube section with a little doggy door exit on that last wave of Mehdi Udwana. I think one of the problem surfers are going to have is going too far to the bottom as we look at it. See the bottom turn, sometimes you can't go all the way down to the bottom.
Almost did a similar kind of thing on his previous wave, wasn't he? Where he tried to throw in that snap real quick straight from the bottom turn. Needs to draw things out a lot more. Let his bottom turn project him down the line. Very easy to say up here on the love bus. Headphones on, all dry, with a perfect read of the lineup and a million camera angles and replays and slow-mos. But, that is our job to analyze, and you've got to let your bottom turn project you down the line. Don't try and attack straight away.
For sure. And this is the rocky entry. You can see Camille helping his brother Julien with his board down. Camille actually slipped on his way down before the webcast started. I was watching him go down there and slipped, fell, but saved the board.
That's a buddy system, though. How cool is that? Have your brother carry your board down?
Yep, hold your paddle while you put your leash on. I mean, that's the other part. You got to get down there, put your leash on, and then get out there. There you see the starboard of Sean Pointer. Excuse me, that's the starboard of Ibaya Moreno. So El Lloret is having its way. It's like a trick-or-treat type of wave, and tricks a lot of people.
Heat leader Clement Rosero will high line pump down. This is a section, and a little kind of half-baked floater down on the inside, but again, just putting himself out of harm's way down there, and he'll use that current to take him back up to the peak, try and get another opportunity. So you'll see that a lot. So Poinaki as well. Even if you kind of feel like maybe not much points on offer, they'll still keep kind of heading and drilling down towards the channel. What they don't want to do is straighten out and get caught on the inside. Set out the back. Let's see if we can get away for Liam Dunkerbeck. The Grom, the Wonder Grom, out of Gran Canaria. Meanwhile, the Moroccan up the point, Udani, found himself a bit of a smooth-looking entry here. A little double-up crease goes through. He snaps one in the pocket and gets a little steep section, which he's not overly interested in. And he gets a slightly ungainly exit out of the top of the wave. So Dunkerbeck taking one on the chin.
This is a great heat, just the way the draw has worked itself out to where you have some relative newcomers. Mehdi in his second event, Clement in his first event, Liam in his first event in the Opens. They found themselves matched up into round 3. 2 of them are going to advance. You see the mid-face turn by Mehdi. He's got to realize he's on a bigger wave, and he needs to keep that board chatter down. He needs to attack that lip on the last maneuver.
He's almost doing that turn on the bottom half of the wave as well. It's like doing it, seems to be doing it way too early. Unless it's a stall for a tube, that's a turn that wants to be much closer to the lip, underneath the lip, or through it. He's doing it really kind of place where he should still be kind of doing a bottom turn. Is Liam Duncan back having a little look here? This one's going to offer up nicely for him if he can swing the ship around. A nice little wall on this. Going to be a late taker for him. Here he goes. Good looking wave for the local, the Grom, Liam Duncan Beck. Draws out the bottom turn. Some white water on the face though from the previous wave. Times this turn in Udani's face, which I don't mind at all. And he'll swing around with a little jam off the top. So at least he's opened up his account.
Yep. Well played by the young lad. I think he needs a little more paddle speed with his approach on the waves. His cadence is a little bit slow. I think he needs a little more cadence in his paddling to get into those waves a little bit earlier, which will help him. Entry into waves is a key factor. Look at that wave. It's beautiful. Starting to get that sunshine glimmering on the waves. Come on, sun. You can do it today. We have faith in you. We've missed you. We've heard so much about the El Sol de Gran Canaria, Clement Rosario on a strainer.
Oh, pig dog. Grabbing the rail and then cranking off the bottom. Nice little fizz off the top from him. So the heat leader looks full of confidence out there. He's certainly had the better waves. And he's proactive on his board as well. He's kind of getting his maneuvers early rather than kind of reacting and surfing. Always a little bit reactive, which is kind of what we've seen from Udani. Still good enough for second place though, the Moroccan. This is another look at the Grom from Liam Duncan back. White water on the face never makes things easy.
Yep. So much white water on that one, telling you that the wave before had broken. And look at this drainer. Looks for the tube section. Wisely decides it's not letting him in. And just snaps in there. He likes to let go of his paddle. Saw that on the previous wave as well.
All right, there's the split in the score line. And it's the 5-minute warning sounding. As we'll just see sets continue to bomb on through. All right, here goes Rosero. And he's got an absolute bomb of a wave here. Look at that section. Beautiful looking wave. Bang, a massive hit. Absolutely beautiful opening turn from the Frenchman. And again, this one will stand up real steep for him. What a great looking wave. That's a sick turn from Clement. If he makes it, he does. The best wave we've seen so far by a country mile this morning. Absolutely lit that one up. 2 big backhand bashes. I tell you what, he's a great surfer, this guy. Real impressed with him yesterday. I like what I've seen this morning as well. He's putting himself in the best part of the wave, and he's attacking as well. Nice aggression off the bottom. There's Udani avoiding the pressure of a set. It's kind of unloading out back. And this jump up in swell that we've been talking about all week has delivered for us today. We're at our prime location of El Lorette. And there's a lot of power out in the ocean. Talking about dealing with power. Let's have a look at Clement Rosero. Look at the speed that he deals with off the tail. He just kind of pokes up that first turn. Gets a little jam. And then down in here, deep bottom turn. Taken on the lips. Sweetly timed. Blowing the tail out. Hang timed. Air drop. That is absolutely great surfing, whichever way you look at it. What an epic wave. That second turn was so impressive, Anthony.
Oh, Paul, it is on.
That's going to be a massive score, you would think. So let's see how that one goes. But he really is taking on these sections with aggression. Did well to deal with the bottom turn. There's a lot of power. Kind of can't appreciate that from the screen. The power you have to kind of load up on that bottom turn.
And you see he's getting more confident with each wave, which continues to be baffling with the lack of warm-up by the athletes,
because that's how you build your confidence. You figure out where to position, how much G-force you have to absorb coming off the bottom. And Clement catching lots of waves, and each successive waves he's gaining the confidence and getting a feel for the wave, and it's playing into his favor. Oh, look at the left.
Going to pay his dues from getting that bomb by getting a little bit lit up. Under 2 to go. Judges are still deliberating on that score, but I'll be very surprised if it doesn't go excellent. There it is. Score comes in. 8-1-7. Into the excellent range. Combos the field. And he has
Boom.
looked real good value. The Frenchman, Clement Rosero, is on an absolute tear down here so far. So Adani and Dunkerback, it's a close tussle between those two. Dunkerback's got a couple of twos, so's Adani, and there's not much in it between those two. 0.23 of a point is the split. So it's all going to come down to the next wave. 190 on the clock. It's wide open. The requirement for Liam Dunkerback is just a low 2. Get into second place from Adani. It's remind ourselves, of course, that 1 and 2 advance. Rosero is through to the next round, barring anything crazy interference-wise. He's through. I mean, even if he did get interference, he'd probably still get through, actually. But at the moment, it's just down between red and white. Dunkerback and Adani. Dunkerback just needs to find himself a little wave, as does Adani. If he wants to play a bit of defense, try and put something bigger on the score.
And it's all happening out there in the water right now. 8.17, our first excellent score of the day, and I'm going to call the first of many.
I think Kadani's all on his own. I think Dunkerback might actually be down on the rocks on the inside, so he's going to play no further part in the competition. There's Clement Rosero, who's come in. And I think Dunkerback is down there on the inside too. So there he is. He won't be getting that 2 that he needs from this position. And the clock will tick down, and Udani will advance. It looks like, along with Rosero, is already back. Just wants to look after that board. On those rocks. Great job. That man, very impressive indeed. Loving the aggression. Taking on the lip. Love seeing surfers fire off deep bottom turns into the bigger sections. And this is how he kind of started off, just kind of linking things together nicely. And as you said, Anthony, every wave he just got better and better.
And just his scores also showed that same thing. And here's Liam Dunkerback finding his nice turn. It's APP World Tour Gran Canaria Pro-Am, and here's the tube attempt. And Clement, this was his third wave, and just playfully banks one off the top. There's Liam. I actually think he paddled into this one prone, so I don't think this wave's going to count. There's Liam, and here he is. Boom.
Check out the second, well, the final maneuvers. He sets up sweetly here, and have a look at this.
Crack.
Absolutely belts it. See the acceleration. You see his head. He just got pinged out by that wave. Did so well. There's a lot going on. That's a real dynamic turn backhand. You got to bring that board all the way around and over your head.
That turn, I would love to see that one again, slow-mo. I mean, you talked about the bottom turn, and he actually had like a semi-double pump and just kept that rail engaged, and just absolutely delivered. That thing, the bottom dropped out. There you see the results right there. Clement Rosero, 8.17. That's the wave we just saw. Total heat score, 13.84.
Smashed it out the park on heat 2 of round 3, Saturday morning in Gran Canaria for the Gran Canaria Pro-Am. APP World Tour wraps up an epic season here with a world title to be decided for our men to go alongside our recently minted and 5-time world champion. For the women, Izzy Gomez. Let's check out Daniel Hughes, Julien Boyer, and Fernando Serra, who's not American. He's from Spain.
Clement Rosero throwing up the highest score of the event so far.
Pretty surprised not to see Daniel Hughes out there this morning. Like, he's one of those guys always like Poenaki, thinks they're always in the water. It's kind of one of the kind of givens is that any morning you're going to see Daniel Hughes out there.
Daniel Hughes,
Quite
Sean
recognisable as well, isn't he, from a distance?
Pointer. Yep.
No sign of him this morning.
No.
Showed up for his heat.
So here we go. We're going to look at Clement Rosario one more time. That's his opening turn. And this is just great surfing here. Sets up this cutback. And just times you can see him already looking at the section.
Puts himself in a great position, doesn't he, with that turn?
Look at those footwork. His head eyeing the landing, keeping his eye on the landing that whole time. Beautiful. Great camera work, great replay. And Paul, you called that wave perfectly. I mean, I give the production side of that wave a 10.
Yeah, real nicely done there from the Frenchman, who will be all smiles. And he will go swinging on to round 4 with his confidence levels way up where they should be. Pretty good performance in here. So heat 3 of the round now. That's a Frenchman, an American and a Spaniard. And the early work will be done basically in positioning, essentially. Which you can just see from the texture there, that is rip, just kind of chewing through this lineup. Unfortunately the wave's powerful enough to kind of overcome that, so it does break clean when they come. And a bit of a river running through the lineup, trying to drag everyone kind of deep, a bit like you maybe would see in Haleiwa or a wave like that, where rather than a sweep down the line, it's very much kind of taking you up deep and off the top of the point. And then when you get down on the inside, down here on the rocks, very much goes the other way, that current.
Mauricio. Mauricio. Okay. Una pluma.
Julien Boyer, having a little speculation. He would have seen his brother's travails early this morning. It wouldn't be overly stoked on what he saw from his brother, so trying to keep the Boyer end up here. There's a little wide sneaker standing up in the rip. As yet, no takers in this one. Anthony Vale is filling in his scorecard, as he likes to do. I used to do that at the cricket as a youth. Used to go and buy a scorecard for 20p.
Yep.
And do the scoring yourself.
Oh, yeah. We do the same thing in American baseball.
Right. My brother and I had a fight. I think I was about 6, and it's Kent, which was a local county versus India. India came and played. It was a great team at the time in the early 80s. And we had a fight, and he ripped my Kent versus India complete scorecard up, and I cried for about 2 weeks. In fact, even now talking about it, it still hurts.
That is absolutely terrible.
It's unforgivable, isn't it? You
Wow.
don't rip a man or a boy's scorecard.
No.
No matter what. I mean, I might have deserved it. Who knows?
You didn't deserve
I
that.
didn't deserve that, man. Hey. So no waves ridden as yet. 19 and a half to go. Daniel Hughes trying to make his way back in against that current. So already a bit of physical exertion without actually having ridden any waves at all in this heat. 5.5 gone. Still hoping for our first bit of action. That lineup positioning. I mean, it's not tricky positioning in terms of to know where to sit. It's tricky in terms of actually executing and being there. That's the challenge this morning. A little kind of crossed up set here. With a weird little bump to it. Right in that rip.
I think you want to be off the rip. It's hard to stay in position. One way to stay in position is by surfing a lot of waves, as we saw in the last heat from Clement. And it took him a while to be in the right position for that 8.17. And he had his body warmed up by catching previous waves. So even if these guys get a good wave, they may not be ready for it.
And the interesting point about that score, most of that score was an excellent wave at 8, but most of the points came right on the end.
Yes.
You don't really need to be at the top of the point doing heroics, trying to get big bombs right out the back, being deepest. Even on the bigger wave, his score came right down on the end of the wave, so just hang even maybe like a third or a half of the way down the wave, just try and hang down there again. It's easier said than done. Rip is going against that, but that does seem to be the tactic.
Especially early in the heat. Get a couple on the end. I know, as surfers, we got to go right to the peak. That was a good-looking wave. was a good-looking wave.
And I think it's fair to say, if you're Fernando Serra, if you're sitting on your board out there in the back, you're basically traveling the wrong direction. If you're not paddling against it, you're going the wrong way because you're not holding position.
At all.
Let's check out Serra here.
That's what happens. He
Hughes
sat down.
underneath the double up here. It goes Daniel Hughes with a concerted effort, and it won't let him in. And this will actually be a good wave when it stands up. Unable to get on and capitalize. Does go a little soft, actually, that one. But he wants to get himself, keep paddling inside, find that inside positioning.
And where's Julian? I haven't seen him on screen for a little bit. There we see the Spanish competitor getting ready for his heat. That is Guillermo Carvecera. He's stoked. He advanced. But yeah, there's the fitness area. So Paul and I at 5:30 this morning got our fitness on before he did his extra yoga session. There's Julian. So he must have got sucked way down because he came in from the right side of the screen. Excuse me, from the left side of the screen. So Daniel Hughes is, by trying to catch 3 waves, he's moved himself into position. First ride of the heat, 9 minutes into it. And it's a beautiful wave. And Dan loves these bigger waves. Boom! Wow, those 2 turns. Boom! Yesterday he told me he's doing the best backhand surfing of his life, and I may believe him off of this opener. That wave was beautiful. One more, and he's going to be right in the channels. Oh, my goodness, Paul. Heat 3 is on.
Puts us out of our misery with a great wave. And basically, he got in position, as you mentioned, for that one by the fact they paddled 4 and missed a couple of previous waves and just dragged him inside of it, put him in the sweet spot. Let's have another look. Nice form off the top early on. He sets the rhythm beautifully for this wave. This is a great section here. And he arrived early and he belted it. And he knew he was on for a good score here. Another nice clip off the top. And finishing down, using that rail and just belting it on the rebound. Still wasn't finished. Another little turn in, and as you mentioned, put himself in the channel. And from there, I'll be surprised if we don't see him maybe get another wave in pretty quick succession to that as he makes his way back out.
Yeah, because now he can see those waves coming. I do agree he's going to pick one off quickly, and I think that wave was better than the wave from Clement, so that's got to be an excellent score from Daniel. And he just went to town. Turn number 2 for Daniel, and turn number 2 for Clement. Those were the best turns of the event so far. Fantastic surfing. And tough positioning. Like you said, if you're sitting down like Julian's doing, even though he's kind of taking strokes, you're going the wrong direction. You're traveling out of the takeoff zone. And that's where Daniel found himself, in the takeoff zone. 10 minutes have gone. These guys haven't even attempted a wave.
Yeah. Serious repositioning required by a Frenchman, and I span it in the water. Comes in just under. I thought it might 767. Just had a feeling maybe, but just by comparison, the sections weren't quite as crisp and as vert. So load of turns done. Comes in just slightly under the excellent range. You look surprised, mate.
Well, I just think that there is a combination, right?
Oh.
So we basically gave Clement the score for the 1 turn. Daniel did a combination of turns.
Ooh, bomb out the back. And he's got some lumps to go over. Look at this thing. It sets up sweetly for him. I tell you, if this is what he was looking for, he's a genius, because he's found himself in a great spot on a big wave. And he waited real patiently out the back. But he needs to kind of commit a lot more to the turns than that. He's doing half turns on this. There's a nice finish on the end. And he's feeling it. It was a great wave. I just got the feeling he didn't actually do that much.
He didn't. He's just stoked that he got a wave. I think he's in position. He waited. It was a bomb. Score's not going to be high, but that was a fun wave nonetheless.
Yeah, good surfing from our Frenchman.
So here's the ending. So he did a lot of work out the back, and he set up for this turn right here. You can see this one doubling up about 7 times, and just arcs his way and sets up for this last finishing turn, getting some speed and getting up into the lip. Stays nice and low and compressed, and you can see it's getting a little spicy out there.
Would have liked to see him hit that last section a bit harder. There was no real risk on the end there. He might as well give it his all. He seemed to hit the bottom turn a lot harder than the top turn. The bottom turn was committed and driving. The top turn for me was soft and undercooked. And I thought, if you know you haven't really done much already on a long wave, you need to give it a serious bit of spank on that end section. Just try and push the score up. Let's have a look at Daniel Hughes here.
So, first turn okay from this angle, kind of behind the wave. This is the wave that we missed while we were watching the wave previous. So this wasn't Dan's 767. This is his backup score. And he's just throwing some turns down the line, nothing too critical.
As we thought, we said, what's going to happen now? He's going to get a wave while he's making his way back out. That's exactly how that went down.
You've seen a heat or two in your life. I mean,
there's the flag of Brittany, Breton, or Brèche, as it's known in the local Breton dialect, which is very similar to Cornish.
these guys are
And
bummed.
Welsh.
They had to come out of their penthouse suite. They could see us on the other side from their penthouse suite. Now they actually had to come down to where the normal people live. And Fernando Serra trying to find. He's got priority, but he's not able to hold himself in position. So it's tough out there. You've got to keep moving. You've got to stay busy, and you've got to be active, just like any point break. Snap a Rock looks easy to surf, but if you've ever surfed there, the current is raging. You can find yourself at Rainbow Bay very quickly if you're not continuously paddling against the current.
Serra. And he'll get a nice entry here, just kind of poke through. There's a little look behind him. I thought maybe it's dropping in on someone in a free surf. And he'll go down onto a little inside runner section. A little tentative snap from him. Puts himself in a good position for another section, which he'll kind of avoid a little bit. And just nurse that board down for a finish. So he's opened up his account. That'll feel good. Getting himself a wave after a long, long wait. Some 14 minutes without surfing. So that's going to feel a lot better for Fernando. Now he's got a chance to get a score on the board, have a requirement to attack Julien Boyer. Meanwhile, Daniel Hughes, your heat leader, still went for his second number to drop. This is his third wave. It's not a great one.
See, that's when you make a mistake. That's how you do it with a smile. He knew he kind of didn't get his rail engaged, and he just kind of laughed at himself. You see some of the guys slapping the water, getting angry with themselves. I think sometimes you got to keep your mindset in a positive vibe. That's what Dan's all about. So we're going to have a look, Paul. We're a bit confused.
I wasn't.
On the score.
You were.
So here's Clement. He got an 8.17 for this wave. First turn, little fluffy. I mean, this cutback's nice, but it's just a cutback.
Yeah, no points as yet.
So this is what the judges are rewarding. Super
Bang.
critical. Airdrop. And here's Dan. I mean, that first turn, better than his first turn, than Clement's first turn. The second turn, though, I thought that was right in the pocket. Not as critical. Backed it up with a third turn. And a cutback here. A cutback was beautiful.
If anything, I'm going to say the 767 was generous on that. I would have even gone maybe having a bit more margin between the two.
Why? Just because
No,
it was
turns, but I just thought it's just kind of redirecting. It's basically fast cutbacks. Essentially, there's nothing where he went from the bottom up into a vertical lip. There was no free fall, anything like that. So
yeah, you're
I
right.
think
Okay.
I think judges are nailing that. I'm backing it.
Okay.
Great stuff. He's surfing really well. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. He's
Yeah.
ripping. But just by comparison, just shows how quality that excellent ride was. Here goes Julien Boyer. And he'll just have to wait out a first section. So he'll get a nice little projection that he'll go down on.
That's what we've been talking about. The first couple of turns are more just patiently waiting for the wave to open up, and even though he's catching them out the back, he's not doing anything until that inside.
So he gets a 4.6 for his first wave. The second score comes in as a 2-3-7. Daniel Hughes, your heat leader, got a 5-6-8, I think, for his second wave. So it's a bomb here for Julien, but doesn't really find a section.
Waiting. That's just a setup turn. It's basically a one-turn wave, and he falls, so it's kind of just a...
It's not easy in there, and that also just reinforces just how impressive that turn was
From Clement.
from Rosero.
Yeah, it was super critical. That was... Judges are spot on. There you see 3 guys, and looks like 1 helper. Maybe someone lost a paddle. Or a free surf. Oh, we've got a free surfer going out.
This is going to be sweet to see what happens now. So we might have a silent protest about to happen.
This is like the Sean Briley at the Pipe Masters.
Yes.
Sean Briley surfing between the semis and the final, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, Briley can come in now. He's like, nah, I don't think so.
There's actually 2 guys about to paddle out. And we'll see. Maybe they're going to go surf the left.
One tribe, one vibe.
That's it. I mean, they're not going to make me go down there and get the guys out. I will. So I might have to take the headphones. Or I can take the headphones in the water. We can talk about what's happening out there. Do an in the water interview. Hey, so we're here with the guys that are trying to free surf. Funny thing is, you put most of these guys on shortboards, and they'll out-surf these guys as well. Back to the heat, Fernando Serra.
Here he goes. Good looking wave for Fernando. A little bit of chatter off the bottom. Gets a nice jam. Sweetly timed. A little hang time as well. Much better from him. He's already improved his 2.77 for his first wave. And there goes that lovely, full, thick head of hair to the inside. It gives it a little toss. Ooh, that's tricky. That is nasty. It's compelling viewing though, isn't it? There's something about watching a surfer precariously step out into the water off the rocks that you just, part of you, just kind of want something terrible to happen.
Part of you, don't speak for me. There we see just the hang time right there from Fernando Serra de España. Ya lo está en el juniors heat también. So they were begging us to not run yesterday. Oh, let's do all the heats at El Lloret. Like, bro, you don't understand how hard that wave is, especially when you don't warm up. None of these athletes, even guys that weren't here last year.
Yeah, looks like our free surfers are heading over to the left across the bay, as you thought.
Well done, Jedi mind tricked them.
They're surfing the izquierda.
Oh, su español.
They're not surfing the derecha.
Nah.
If in doubt, go izquierda. That's what I always say. Okay, somehow this heat's just disappeared. 4.5 on the clock. Hughes of USA the lead. Boyer of France second place. Sarah's not far behind him now. Got himself a 3 for that last wave, I think, unless that's another score. Yeah, that's his last score. There we go. 2.93. Wow, okay, I thought that might go a little higher than that, but hey, just the one turn. But he's still got a bit of work to do. He's going to come back. Julien Boyer. The combo is for first place, of course. And it's Saturday morning in the Canary Islands. It's great to have you online. APP World Tour. We'll wrap up an epic season of surfing here in the beautiful Fortunate Isles, the island of Gran Canaria, the city of Las Palmas, the break of El Lloret.
So here's where the directions get confusing. Izquierda, we talked about, is to the left. And derecha is to the right. Do you know how to say straight?
Todo directo.
Derecho.
Derecho.
So if you get derecho and derecha confused, people get, you're talking about straight or you're talking about right. Derecha is straight. Derecha is right. Derecho is straight. So the direction you don't want to go on a wave Derecho.
You don't want to go straight.
You want to go right today. Derecha. So there's your Spanish for all you kids that took off the day from school like we've been recommending. Stay in school, but just take a day off to watch the surfing.
All right, set shaping up here. Any takers? Sarah having a little sniff. Decides he doesn't like it. That's the next heat. Just waiting their time out in the channel there. So they got in early. And everyone's equipment seems fine and unperturbed from the rocks.
.05, that's what Fernando Serra's looking for. And he's caught more waves in the last 7 minutes than he did in the first 15. And I think the other heats will take notice of this. Don't get caught in the rip.
Here he goes, he's up riding here, looking for that fall. A little bump and chatter and clatter. And he's out of there. Still looking for that wave, which looks further and further away as the clock will tick down. There's the view of the northeast tip of the island there. There's those trademark volcanic peaks of the Canaries. You can see the city of Las Palmas stretched out to the top of your shot to the right. There's a beautiful beach that runs all the way down to Las Canteras. It's just the songs, right? Is that what Cantera means, a song? Is it?
Canta is a story. Canción is a song. Cantera might be another word for song, but canción means song.
Long stretch of beach break and a bunch of waves along there. And when the swell juices up, as it has today, well, that's when the points and the reefs come to the party. Alioret firing up.
And this is just disrespectful right here. The next heat's got to stay wide, so these guys know better. They're trying to get close, but you got to give the heat, even though there's 30 seconds.
They still gotta move though. We gotta tell them for the next.
And we're getting to the end of this heat number 3, round 3. We've got 8 heats coming up today in round 3. We're going right into round 4. So round 3 is elimination round, 3-person heat. Round 4 will also be an elimination round with man on man. After round 3 will be man on man for the remainder of the event. And Daniel Hughes moving on with Julien Bouillet. Julien trying to better his semifinal performance from last year and make his first final ever on the APP World Tour to Fernando Serra. Oh, you can see Julien going on the inside. That's the rocky section. He's just slaloming his way through. We look back at this heat. Daniel Hughes got this 767 that we dissected. This turn right here, boom. Maybe that wave wasn't as big as well. That was a smaller wave too, thinking about Clement's wave. But Daniel just flowing through this wave right here. And he's looking strong on his backhand.
Can I say also, like the full deck grip that goes all the way up the board? I'm not worried about the patch. But then you wax in between. What's that about? So weird.
Makes your board 1/2 of 1% lighter. Here's Daniel again.
Feels more like a kind of comfy carpet when you got the full grip. You know, nice little rug.
On his magic carpet ride, Fernando Serra ending his main round campaign. He had to work through the repechaje round. Now he'll be featured in the youth semifinal.
Let's set the scene in Heat 4. Sean Pointer, winner in Barbados, defending world champion from 2018, taking on Wellington Heiss and Antonin Salaveria. They just keep coming thick and fast. Oof. So we got a little bit of strapping on the knee there of Julien Boyer as he tentatively makes his way up.
He hurt his knee yesterday coming down on one of his turns, so it looked pretty good today, probably a little sore. That's why his brother's helping him with the board. They currently have 4th place in the world Wellington race right now on the APP World Tour ratings. Sean Pointer currently in equal 6th, tied with Benoit Carpentier. Here's Wellington having a look, Sean having a look. Wellington goes down, so he'll lose. He'll go to 3rd priority. So right now the other two guys have equal priority, but Wellington will have 3rd priority now. Antonin, the newcomer, he won his rapid charge heat yesterday, got 2nd in his rapid charge heat. He was surfing with Antonio Sanchez, who advanced as well. And now he finds himself against the 2 informed surfers, one goofy in Wellington and one regular